Hello. No. All right, well, I'll just cut it. I'll cut it. Hi, my name is Charlie, and today I want to invite you along for a guided meditation featuring this new drum. And I intend for this to be about 20 to 30 minutes of guided meditation and sound. So first of all, if you would like to join this sit with me, then I would invite you to make a place for yourself, pause the video, and take a moment to take care of your needs and arrive somewhere where you can settle into a deep rest. When you're ready to begin, we'll just take an easy, natural pose. And let's check in with the alignment of our bodies. First of all, we'll come from the ground up, feeling how our sits bones, maybe our feet, perhaps even our back, and the back of our head, if you're lying down, connects with the earth. Everything in your body resting on these points. Where do you feel the contact? What does it feel like to be supported by the ground underneath you? I'll invite you to take a deep breath, gathering it at the base, those points, and out of the floor, drawing it through your belly, your chest, your shoulders, up your spine, and in to the top of your head, to your crown. And imagine then that you have a point right here, and at that point is fixed just a little silver thread, so slight that it's almost imperceptible, like a single thread of spider silk, but unbreakable. And it's just subtly pulling you up and up and up into the sky, as if you're being just gently lifted up on a puppet string. And between these 2 points, I like to imagine that we just rest everything. And the bones of our spine, our shoulders, our ribs, down into the bones of our hips, just settle together like a stack of dishes so that they fit. Gently melting down, relaxing. Taking just a moment to feel that alignment and listen to how your body responds to it. I think oftentimes we create expectations for ourselves in meditation where we believe that we need to achieve absolute stillness. But I find that resistance to movement often prevents us from accessing the very medicine that we're searching for when we enter meditation. So instead of searching for absolute movement, during this practice, I would actually like to offer continuous motion, like the coming and going of the tide. Just subtly moving up and down, spiraling up our spine and down, feeling the energy shift between the sides just subtly, feeling how it shifts almost like water, one side filling while the other side empties, and then pouring gently into the other side so that that side fills and the other one empties. And as we settle into this movement, we remind ourselves to draw our breath up through this aligned structure. I find that very quickly, usually, in the presence of this allowance, that the knots, the tensions in our body will ask to be unraveled. And when we find them, we're not going to ask them to be any different just yet. First, just identify where you might be holding tension. For me, I find that this band of muscles here, just above my shoulder, behind my shoulder blades, tends to have a lot of tension. And so I'm just going to move in this continuous motion and just see where going into that feeling might take me. Just allowing this shifting like water to pass over my awareness of this spot. And as it does, that water, so to speak, might begin to drag away these sand particles, the grit that's caught up here, and begin to loosen and lubricate these joints. And inviting that into my lower back, my neck, my hips, my ankles beneath me, all the way out to my toes. Just feeling how this shifting and settling begins to loosen up all of these blockages, all of the little bits of things that we didn't have time for in the moment, or all those little just stuck pieces of tension begin to drain away under the weight of gravity. And as we do so, take a moment to offer everything that you clear back to the earth. The earth is no stranger to this detritus, this decay, these pieces falling away, and it is much better equipped to hold them than we are. So offer this dying, releasing energy back to the earth, and so that it may be recycled, repurposed, and so that we can consciously allow ourselves to release it and identify that we no longer need it. Let's take a big, deep breath in, beginning by expanding our belly and filling it with sunlight energy, calling it up our spine, allowing it to open our shoulders and our back body and expand through every bit of our being, stretching us even beyond the limits of our body, and then flowing out of us effortlessly like a wave, crashing and dragging back out. Let's take a few more breaths like this and allow that motion to continue to carry out the tension from our bodies. Follow the sensations that arise without coming into conflict with them. If you feel pain, feel pain. Don't strain yourself against the pain or try to shut down to escape it. Sit with it like you might sit with a friend going through a difficult loss or a momentous decision, allow your friend, even if that is a piece of yourself, to explain themselves, to unravel their story and their fears, as you are simply an active listener. And as we come into this space of active listening to ourselves, we'll also begin naturally to draw in more awareness of what is around us. So, let's invite it in. Check in with all 5 senses. Do you feel the movement of wind against you, or clothing on your skin, sunlight radiating into you? Are there smells moving on the air currents? Or perhaps there's a smell that's just like a little bit of nostalgia that seems to come almost from within a memory. What can you hear? Are there noises that are calming, that we enjoy? Or perhaps noises which we might at first label annoying or irksome? Electrical noises, cars in the background. Let's invite those too. Let's simply open up our witness to allow all of these things. And we don't need to change our opinions about these things. We might still find them to be annoying or pleasant. But for the moment, let's just take a break from identifying them and from deciding to feel one way or another about them. They're all part of this moment. And what about our subtle internal senses? The senses that occur within our mind. The ways that we are feeling towards other people. Let's observe these too. And as we do, let's make some space right here in our solar plexus, between the smallest ribs, at this point where, if you were to get hit there, it would knock all the air out of you. Well, let's focus our breath into that, allowing it to expand. And maybe we can even visualize our own little sun right here, almost like the center of the solar system of our body, where all of this light is coming in and pouring out. And let's fill that breath with gratitude for our senses, for our lives, for this moment of rest. For all of those people, and for the creator of all of it. And that we are allowed to experience this all without judgment. Now, I'm going to invite us into an imaginative space. And as we do, I invite you to close your eyes, to clear away identifying thoughts, frustrations, chores, to-do lists. Let's observe all of these for a moment, and as we do, let's just remind them I still have time for that. But right now, I'm going to set it down. And let's come into this blank space. And this is a rich darkness. And there's nothing there but potential. And in that space, let's begin with a river. And this river flows out from a stream. And this flowing river winds its way down from a high mountain, welling up out of the earth. And as it goes, a valley rises around it to hold the water. Rocks and trees in rich shades of gray and red, deep greens, flowers of many colors. And now in this valley, as we begin to hear the sound of the water rippling and rushing, speaking almost with thousands of tiny voices, we can hear other sounds as well. Birds and animals begin to add their voices to the space. Calling out to each other. And as we're patient, they begin to emerge, coming out to look out over the river and the valley, drinking and jumping across this flowing river. Now, let's imagine that this river flows through a beautiful hidden grotto deep within the valley. And it's surrounded by our favorite kinds of trees. The floor is mossy and soft, springy underfoot. Let's imagine ourselves walking gently through this space. And we find that a beam of golden sunlight is coming through the trees. And as it hits their leaves, it fractures into every color we can imagine, just gently laid across the mossy fields and the flowers and the trees that surround this little grotto. And in this sunbeam, we come and we take a seat. We cross our legs and we smile. For here, there is only peace, only the natural world. And as we sit in this peace, time begins to move so quickly as we are so still. The days and the nights blend together, coming and going, just like our breath. The grotto's edges blur and shift as things grow and others die. The seasons begin to roll along, passing almost as quickly as the days now, blending so easily into one another. We can see the cycle emerge around us like a wave. And as we do, the moss begins to creep up our bodies, settling all our unrests. The water and the rain soaks into us, and we become like a rock, totally still, and yet ever so gradually yielding to the nature around us. And as our physical form begins to come undone, we can see this sphere of light within us. What color is the light that you see? What does it make you feel as it begins to brighten against the dark and softening, cracking edges of our physical form? I find that this light is very joyful. It wants to play and to love. And it is capable of taking any form. And I imagine that this light drifts away from our mossy statue there in this hidden forest grove, and it lifts up over the valley. We take in the whole valley, not just as a sight or a sound or a smell, but as if our light is extending through every creature and every tree and every little sensation from every pore of life in this forest comes into and out of us like a wave following our breath. And now, delighting in its own freedom, this light takes on the form of a bird, and then a dragon whirling through the sky, transforming as it whirls about, turning over itself, dancing effortlessly through the air, swooping and landing and jumping and whistling through the air, completely free to go wherever and to take whatever form. Now, as we follow this light, I'm going to invite you to take it wherever your imagination would choose. And I'm going to play some sounds as we reside in this space of limitless imagination, flowing out across the world to see and explore, even into space or to the center of the earth. This light is boundless, and it can take claws and dig through the earth, or wings and fly through the sky, or fingers to pluck the strings of a guitar. So follow it. Allow it to be free and move in and out with your breath. And wherever it delights, it goes. Changing colors, changing shapes, and inviting us to explore all of the things, the wildest places and imaginings that we yearn to see. wherever this boundless imagining has taken us is present within us and always accessible through this practice of peace and releasing of the physical form. Because beyond that body that goes to sit in the forest is that boundless light which takes all forms. And that light is the real essence of our being, the eternal gift of creation. And though all the forms that arise out of it must pass away, they then become the soil for new creation. And that light never was born and never will die. But we have invited that light into our bodies here, which we find ourselves now returning to. And this too is a gift. This experience has much to teach us, much to be felt. And as we look around, perhaps we're reminded of how beautiful it can really be when we take time to notice the richness of the colors and the interplay of all the creatures and noises that make up the vibrations of this world. And as we return, let it come back with our breath, connecting the points that we are rooted to on the earth with the crown as it's subtly magnetized towards heaven, and allowing the rest of our body to settle under the weight of gravity, shifting into place like a stack of dishes. Now, let's take a moment to pass our awareness through our body, relaxing, surrendering as we go, beginning with our forehead and our scalp, coming behind our eyes which are so overworked in the way that we live today. Just being grateful for our eyes, allowing them to soften, allowing the burdens of the hardship, the suffering which we must see also to be drained down under the weight of gravity. Shifting our attention to our temples and around our ears. We might find that this area is very connected with the muscles in our jaw. We hold a lot of tension here. Can we allow our jaw to soften? Letting go of clenching, moving into our throat, letting go of what has been said and what does not need to be said. Dropping down into our shoulders, this settling continues to drain the tension out of our body. From our shoulders, down our arms, loosening our biceps and triceps, softening the joints at our elbows and in our forearms, allowing that tension to just bleed out of our fingers, softening our hands, maybe taking a moment to massage them out. Our hands are very strong, but we put a tremendous amount of work into them. So let's take a moment to be grateful for our hands and to allow all of that to drain out from our arms, through our fingers, into the earth. Now we come to our lungs and our rib cage. Can we soften our breath? Soften our hold on the coming and going, the expanding and contracting of our chest and our lungs until it's almost as if our body is breathing itself. Into our belly, our abdomen. Sometimes the belly really wants to expand. Sometimes there are tight knots here. Can we allow them to be felt fully, to expand even when they hurt? So that they can be expressed, so that they can become unraveled. Now, check back in with your temples and the space behind your eyes. Is there tension that you're holding between your eyebrows? Perhaps in your forehead? Can we take a moment to release that again and come back into our deep connectedness with our weight settling into the earth beneath us and our spirit gently calling through our spine, through the top of our head into heaven? Now let's come into our sacral area, our hips, releasing tension, remembering that continuous motion, allowing our body to move as it wishes, as it tells us how to release what we are holding, how to create more space, more compassion for ourselves. Letting all of that descend into our roots, as if the forest has grown up and through us, releasing our weight all of our attention into those roots and drawing our nourishment from the soil and the water drawing up, pooling in our bellies, up into our lungs, expanding, and then into every pore of our being, this multicolored light flowing with the water through our cells, replenishing them, rejuvenating them, reconnecting them, and carrying away all of this shedding material. And then let's draw this water up and over our shoulders and let it cascade down your back body, loosening the muscles of your back, opening your back fully to your breath, like we're pushing our heart back and through, up, expanding through our back and through our front, taking up as much space as we possibly can. All this space is granted to us and more. And as that cascades down our back, pooling again in our belly and in our roots, let's let our awareness descend through our legs, through these strong muscles of our thighs and our knees. Can we soften our knees? Soften our sitting stance so that we are even more surrendered to gravity and the natural motion of our body. Coming down through our lower legs, shifting because our body knows how to ground itself, to make itself comfortable. Checking back in with the alignment of our spine, attention disappearing from behind our eyes, from our brains, from our scalp, flowing all the way down and arriving at last at our feet. Our wonderful feet that carry us through this life, taking our whole weight all the time. Do we take proper time to be grateful for our feet, to rest them? Let's check in with them now. How can we loosen the many small bones of our feet, shifting our ankles and our toes to release tension? Maybe taking a minute to massage our feet. Those feet that serve us and carry us across all different types of terrain. Many of us spend long hours standing, walking, carrying things. We expect all of that weight to rest on our feet, and they carry it for us so well. So let's just take a moment to be thankful for these faculties that our body has. Let's take a minute to see the differences between now and when we began our sit. We might still feel tension in our body, and that's okay. But we can allow those drainage channels and that gentle, continuous motion to come with us as we return to the flow of the rest of our day. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for being present with yourselves. And I hope that if you enjoyed this, that you'll let me know in the comments. Maybe tell me where your imagination carried you, what form that it took that brought you joy. And let me know if you would like me to continue to make videos like these, if this was helpful for you. 'Cause I certainly enjoyed it, but I would love to know if this connected with you, and perhaps if there is something that you would like to experience in your imagination, or techniques for meditation that you would like to share, or perhaps that you would like for me to share. But I'm gonna close this video with just a couple more minutes with my awesome new drum, which I've been enjoying so much. So thank you all for coming. And yeah, I hope that you'll carry that gratitude for yourself away from this video into wherever you go from here. Namaste. Mhm. Thank you.